Let's go see Tim Pool.
You have a lot of politicians on the Democrat side who got behind authoritarian practices during COVID. I'm not going to support those individuals.
So, but the authoritarian practices today, you're willing to look past.
Some of them, yes.
Come on, man.
The mainstream political left commits more violence than the mainstream
Go left.
political right.
None of what you're saying makes any sense.
Go
It
left.
sounds like you're
Seriously,
honestly grifting.
AI fan fictions about you are enemies? You are never beating the hot cow allegations.
Yo, you gotta keep making them too. Keep making the. It's making them so mad, bro. Seeing how the Goiper generals are fat frogs would think about this on the street.
Avocados from
So
Mexico.
good.
You can say that
Let me
there's
ask you a
civil
question.
war every fucking year and it doesn't happen. And
I
you're gonna
never
say
said
it just
there
hasn't
was.
happened yet.
Do you want me to get you a
I'm just saying,
soapbox?
it's really
I can leave.
easy.
You want me to- you
It's
want me to
really
go?
easy to
You want me
like
to
do
leave?
what you do.
You want me to
It's
leave?
really easy to do what you do.
Is the United States tracking towards civil war?
Why is the frame rate so low? Why does my computer do that? Is it because I have too many tabs? I want to see this. So it's the first time I ever saw a walk-off.
Or is America more united than it seems? Hi everyone, I'm Paris Rose, and I'll be filling in for John today. From Jubilee Media, this is Surrounded, where one brave soul faces a room full of disagreeers. Today we're debating which political party is more violent. Is authoritarianism on the rise in America? And have both parties abandoned their oath to the Constitution? I'm here with our featured
Black
guest,
Queen.
moderate political commentator, Tim Pool.
Hi, I'm Tim Pool. I'm the host of Timcast IRL, and today I'm surrounded by progressives. My first surrounded claim is that the mainstream left commits more violence than the mainstream right.
If you like
Go up and snatch his beanie. Don't do that. Don't do that. I actually remember during Ye 24 when Ye went on Tim Pool, a lot of people were saying that he should snatch the beanie.
to be the first debater, get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
How's it going? Hey.
Great to meet you, buddy. How you
I
doing?
walked off on the
Pretty good,
first
pretty
guy.
There seems to be like a broader implication with your prompt that there's this domestic threat from mainstream left politicians. Like, do you really think Hillary Clinton's like leading the Vanguard Revolution Party? Like,
No.
What is your take?
When you look at the violence that we do see, I describe it as from blunt to acute, which is with the fringe extreme right, you'll see extreme mass shootings. You'll see,
Like the Majid from the Goipers.
Avocados from
The
Mexico.
cat boys that shot up the mosque, yeah. Or another chud who shot up In-N-Out recently.
someone will show up and they'll unload on people, things like that. On the left, though, you'll see riots, vandalism that you don't see from the right. But the point I'm making is that when you break down the ideology that motivates individuals that commit political violence, there is more often an overlap between what the Democratic Party espouses ideologically and what we see in street-level violence, as well as maybe assassinations,
What is
versus
it-
what the Republicans would espouse.
I mean, I couldn't disagree more. What ideologies that the Democratic Party is promoting that leads to these types of violence? Anytime you see an act of violence that's typically attributed to the left, it is immediately condemned by every Democrat politician.
Indeed.
You couldn't point to one that actually endorses that. Or you
not
have somebody
arguing
like Donald Trump, who's literally the president of the United States, saying that we should call for the death of congressional members who are fulfilling their civic duty and saying, hey, maybe you shouldn't fulfill illegal orders if you're in the military. And Donald Trump's asking for them to be put to death. How is that not
it's terrifying.
inciting to violence?
No, that's absolutely terrifying. I completely disagree with that. My point more so is that when you see, say, the
conceding
George
already?
Floyd or the BLM riots,
Okay.
you end up with Biden and Kamala themselves promoting fundraisers for those accused of committing these crimes. During
Which
these riots,
crimes could you point to?
so in Minnesota, you had there was a firefighter who opened a sports bar. It was burned down. In fact, when the
on the
local
back
news
foot
went
already.
to interview him about his dream bar being burnt to the ground, it was ransacked. I don't think it was burned to the ground.
No, Sneaky, stop
while
lying.
they're filming the story.
Stop lying
there were
that we
people
confronted
looting
you
a safe
and you
stealing
ran
it.
in that black
Well, I think
suit
that
like a
there's
clown.
absolutely a big difference between a lot of the private buildings or private enterprises that were targeted versus like public institutions like the police precinct. Like, you're somebody who I've seen the iconography on your show. You're a big patriotic guy. You love 1776, right? That wasn't the most peaceful way that we had, criticizing our government or saying
a
that
violent
tyranny
revolution.
shouldn't
How long
exist
was the
here.
Revolutionary War
But I will
going
say-
on before they signed the declaration?
I will say that the police precincts, the same people who committed a brutal murder using state violence in order to justify that, I think we can understand why people would rightfully be mad
Which
without
political
any
party is in
accountability.
control of the police department in Minneapolis?
That is not the central. First of all, we're talking about the mainstream political left. Which
Indeed.
politicians are endorsing that type
Never
of behavior?
said politicians were endorsing it.
Then what's the mainstream left?
So you have activists, whose ideology aligns with politicians who are
You
trying
would
to
say
say
that
it's
those
not
activists identify with the Democratic Party, the
No,
ones that
I
are
would say
committing
that the
violence.
Democratic Party courts
Because let
their
me
vote.
tell you, the leftists
think-
that you could talk to, not the biggest fans of the Democratic
Democratic
Party.
Party in favor of Black Lives Matter?
I would say, yeah. I'd
Were the
say
rioters
even most
supporters of-
moderates. I'd say actual
Indeed.
moderates,
Absolutely.
not right-leaning conservatives who
Were-
claim to
were
be
the- were
moderates.
the riots
Usually
based
those
off
people
of-
also are
Yeah,
agree.
he's going to try to blame the left. It's the same Charlie Kirk narrative change and trying to blame Hassan Piker. So the theme is 1 moderate versus 20 liberals. So is he moderate? I saw he was defending Pablo Fuentberg a lot here.
That police violence is something that should be
Were the
discouraged.
riots Black Lives Matter motivated?
They were motivated.
By Black Lives Matter. So that ideology is espoused by...
No,
so
the
my point is
Black
this.
Lives Matter is not encouraging violence.
I didn't
Black
say
Lives
they were.
Matter is recognizing systemic inequality
Never said
where
they
it
were.
happens.
They were telling people to go be violent. I'm saying that there are violent individuals, and with the riots, a lot of them, which we've seen.
Can you tell me
how
who
about this?
Chris?
Let's
Tell me who Chris Ray is. Do you know who Chris Ray is?
explain it to me.
Well, you have a show talking about politics every day. I would think that you know. But Chris Ray was the former.
Let's not do this. If
Well,
you have a
he
point
was-
to make, let's make a
Yes,
point.
sir.
Let's
Yes,
not
sir.
try and play
Yes,
these
sir.
games.
So Chris Ray was the former FBI director.
Jed, who's
on-
winning? Do you wonder, does Tim Pool ever get hot with the beanie? Even when he went to Mar-a-Lago, he was wearing a suit with the beanie on. Does it ever get sweaty in there?
Under Donald Trump's first term.
What does it
He
smell
said
like?
that he even agreed with the findings from both the congressional research session that right-wing violence is way more proliferate in
But
this
we're not
country
talking
than
about
left-wing
that.
violence.
That's not
That
meaningful
is.
to a voter. Let me explain. The Republican Party rejects neo-Nazism, correct?
No, Donald Trump invited Nick Fuentes to have dinner with him, with Kanye West.
So tell me one politician who went out and campaigned for the neo-Nazi vote.
I'm blanking on his name, but Gozar in,
Is that a
in
mainstream
Arizona.
view in this country?
Well, we could talk about Gozar. We could talk about Matt Gaetz. We could talk about.
Matt Gaetz is not endorsing neo-Nazism. And Donald Trump
Are
said
you kidding me?
Nazis should be condemned entirely.
No, he is literally partnering with the America First movement. He was a
America First
chosen
and neo-Nazism are totally different.
Bro, so you don't think do you think Nick Fuentes is a neo-Nazi? I
wouldn't-
forgot
I
you've
wouldn't-
had him on your show. Oh my
wouldn't-
God,
I
I
wouldn't-
literally forget.
I wouldn't describe Nick Fuentes as a neo-Nazi.
You don't think that Nick Fuentes celebrating Adolf Hitler is not neo-Nazi adjacent?
I think you have to be very specific on what your terms are. And so when you go to an American voter and say something like...
This is our moderate, by the way, everybody. This is our moderate.
Indeed.
Keep going.
So when you go to a regular American and ask them what is meaningful to them in terms of an election, you don't have Democrats or Republicans endorsing violence. But you also don't have, Charlie Kirk's a good example. He threw out Nick Fuentes, he threw out white identitarians, white nationalists from his events. They were not welcome. That's mainstream. You don't have riots coming from the Republican Party and the right, although you do have January 6th and things like that. When you take a look at the shootings of the Tesla facilities, the execution of Aaron Danielson, the assassination
We
of Charlie
saw you
Kirk,
walk to your
and
apartment in Manhattan.
one of the attempted
It's only a
assassinations
matter
on
of
Donald Trump,
time.
not
Apologize
the Pennsylvania
sneaky.
one, you can see the underlying ideologies overlap with the Democratic Party. When you take a look at like Nick Fuentes, he's opposed to the Republican Party. He's been actively endorsing.
So funny. Like, look at that. The TTS. This is from a right-winger, white nationalist. The whole premise of this debate is that the left right now is more violent than the right, and you have right-wingers TTSing, trying to encourage my assassination live right now.
Democrats right now.
He's been saying that the Republican Party is too left for him. It's not that he's opposed
That's
to the
my
Republican
point.
Party in principle.
This is literally my point.
No,
Nick
but-
Fuentes comes out and says, do not vote for Trump.
What-
The mainstream
When-
Republican
when
Party is
you-
at odds
no,
with these people.
No, again, if you're looking at all of the empirical data, the violence is way more on the right.
But
so
that's not
you
the
can say
claim.
what your feelings are. You
That's
can
not
say
my
that.
feeling nor the claim.
Facts don't care about
It is
your
not
feelings.
meaningful to a voter to say we don't like neo-Nazis and white supremacists because the
It's
Republican
meaningful
Party
to say.
is not saying
It's
they want a
meaningful to
white
say.
America.
Let's be objective of where the violence is coming from, and if it's more substantially coming from the right, that is a problem that
But
needs to be
it's
tackled.
not coming from Charlie Kirk.
Okay,
who
we're
was
not
killed.
talking about
I think
Trump.
the best argument Tim Pool could have used here with his beanie, he could have said, Pablo Fuenstein, he's not a neo-Nazi. When he got arrested by the police, he said, I'm not a white supremacist, I'm a Mexican. Remember? The police are asking, are you a white supremacist? No. How could I be? My last name's Fuentes. Okay, I'm a Mexican. Done.
Charlie Kirk, we're talking
No,
about
we
the
are,
overall
We're
ideology.
not.
It takes
In fact,
for
we're
you
not.
to
So
do
you're
a
telling
full
me-
IQ test and publish the results.
I think the IQ test is how much money you're going to give me in the TTS to see.
My claim.
You're telling me that the prioritization of hierarchies, both ethnic, both cultural, that is not a dangerous ideology. But
never said
something like
that.
BLM that says, hey, maybe we should take back police violence. Maybe we should have accountability for people who are in charge of certain aspects of our nation, committing violence on citizens. Those are absolutely completely different ideologies. And the fact that you're saying
they are
it is more
different.
motivating for violence, that the left wing is encouraging people to take those that are committing violence accountable.
In the
that
last 10
absolutely is not
years,
more.
there have been over 465 incidents of left-motivated political violence that aligns with the Democratic Party.
Okay, fact check. Fraud. No credible standardized data set substantiates over 465 incidents of Democratic-aligned mainstream left political violence in the past decade. In reference to this claim, party leadership cannot consistently be used to exclude right-wing violence while attributing all left-coded violence to Democrats.
And there's been one on the Republican side, which is January 6th, which admittedly is particularly egregious. January 6th was that's
Storm the Capitol. Take it all. Storm the Capitol.
why we talk about blunt versus acute. Now the problem is, I already know what
I
everyone.
love
all you're
you
going to
for
say. You're going to
Allah's
cite FBI
sake, my
stats.
brother. Hope to meet you one day.
Hey, thanks again, New York Pizzeria. Appreciate it.
Cato, but it's not meaningful to me or any voter to tell me why white supremacists are violent, because I don't like white supremacists, nor will I vote for them. And more importantly, you bring up Nick Fuentes. He is not aligned with Republicans, and he's advocated against them.
I think-
Wait, that was a $300 TTS. I thought it said 30. $300 from New York Pizzeria. Bang. Whoa, I thought that was 30.
Sneaky, you're running out of time to get tattoo removal. Go fulfill grift.
Thank you so much. Thank you to all the Kufar seething and also New York Pizzeria. Thank you so much. Salute to you. Appreciate it, my guy.
I think for somebody who
Republicans
has,
don't like 'em.
I think for somebody who has a political show where you talk about this stuff every day, you are completely misreading the conversation when you're saying that those that are engaged in like civil disobedience are like
I'm not talking
Democrat
about civil
voters.
disobedience.
You're telling me
You're
that those
misframing
people
what
are
I'm saying.
canvassing for Democratic
Never
politicians,
said that.
which is
I'm
absolutely
actually,
not true.
Absolutely in favor of canvassing. I'm in favor of protesting.
I'm not saying
for
that
racial-
you're. I'm not saying that you're against that.
So
but I'm
don't,
saying
don't try and frame my
you're
argument like
calling-
I'm upset with protests, because
No.
I've defended Black Lives Matter blocking streets. I've defended left-aligned progressive groups like anti-capitalist groups blocking streets and environmental groups. I stand with civil disobedience, and I've defended them every single time. If you want to block a road, there's
what
a
is it that you're
tolerance.
saying is more violent on the left? You mentioned Black Lives Matter.
Let's
You
give a few
mentioned
examples.
these
Let's
protests.
talk about the Tesla.
Someone in chat said, don't ban me. Wasn't SNEAKO just listening to nigga Heil Hitler in the club? Yeah, I mean, it's even in the sense you said. Wasn't he listening? I saw people say that too, in response to the Malcolm X comparison Clippers are making. Like, wasn't he listening to nigga Heil Hitler? Yeah, the song's called Nigga Heil Hitler. It's made by Ye, a black man. I was there documenting the process and made several documentaries. This is not a neo-Nazi song. How could a neo-Nazi be a nigga howling? It doesn't make sense. It's an oxymoron. It's a funny song.
Facilities being unloaded upon or shot up, right? These are motivated by an ideology that you will hear from Elizabeth Warren. Now, of course, she's not telling people to shoot anybody, but she is coming out saying Elon Musk is a dangerous threat to this country. And then you end up with someone going and pulling a rifle up and shooting up a Tesla.
When you understand that the right always says politicians are not responsible for individual actions. Elizabeth
what
Warren
actions?
saying, hey, maybe we should have the same sort of economic policies they have in Scandinavia.
Why was
that
Aaron
is not her
Danielson
encouraging, go shoot up a Tesla facility.
Why was
Where
Aaron
Donald
Dan-
Trump saying, let's hang the
Answer the
people,
question.
let's hang the people who encouraged those in the military to actually fulfill their
Again,
duties. That is completely.
My claim is not that the right is completely
He's the
innocent.
leader of the Republican Party, my dude.
And I
To say that
condemn-
these are
My
equivocal
dude.
at all is
I
completely
condemn
false.
100% what Donald Trump said, calling for the death of those politicians.
Who's winning?
Notice
have to
how for
move
every
on.
fan you have a hater.
Great to meet you, Tim.
Likewise.
Truly sad the road you chose.
Actually, I don't find you guys to be haters. The ones in the TTS, like the majority of the chat, they all laugh at you every time you TTS. It's a very small vocal minority of pay pigs that give me about $1,000 to $2,000 every single stream. You guys are fans too. Shout out to the pay pigs. You guys are funding a lot of this stuff. And a school in Gaza. Alhamdulillah.
If you'd like to be the next debater, get to the chair.
Like if you are a real hater, then you wouldn't sit in here giving me money all day. If I hate somebody, would I sit and watch their stream and give them tons of money? That's not what a real hater does. But anyway.
3, 2, 1.
Hello.
Hi.
What I find really interesting is the whole premise of like the Occupy
Queen.
Wall Street movement was to protest, right?
Indeed.
It was specifically geared towards making sure that the general
Occupy Wall Street was the last time the left and right could unite and be like, okay, the banks are paying for this war and they're all getting bailed out for rigging the economy against the regular people. So obviously that had to be controlled.
public was understanding the situation at the time, which had a lot to do with anti-capitalist motives, right? And so when we're talking about who's more violent than who, we have to be very specific that the violence that is recorded in the data is not ideological violence. It's not this like rhetoric. It has to be evidentiary. So if you're going to say like, oh, Black Lives Matter, and any leftists that are associated with that are automatically violent, that's just not the case.
I didn't say that.
But that's what you're implying.
No, I'm implying that when you have riots in this country, overwhelmingly, the underlying ideology aligns with the mainstream left ideology of this country.
But what you're saying in your prompt that you wrote is that the left is more violent than the right.
The mainstream political left commits more violence than the mainstream political right.
Right, the mainstream. And
Indeed.
what I'm trying to tell you is that the data is not showing that that is the actual evidence. If
It
you're
does,
talking,
actually.
no, it doesn't.
It does. My team has put together over 10 years
75 to
465 instances.
80% of violence, actual violence, that is being tracked as domestic terrorism comes from the right. It's white supremacist groups.
And white supremacists are not in a large political party getting voted for.
Yes, they are. The
They're not.
Republican Party is very largely right wing. It is very far right.
So the fact check substantiates her claim. So 75 to 80% of the figure broadly supported from U.S. domestic terrorism since 2001 were right wingers.
If
But
you,
they're not white supremacists, nor would
Yes,
nor are
they
the
are.
Americans voting for a Republican Party because they
what do
want
you
white
think
supremacy.
make America great again means?
I think it means making the economy improve. I think it means
No.
building our cultural institutions. Well, you could
According to what time? According to what time? I'll give you that.
probably the 80s because Trump's an old man.
I
would say the 90s.
Seriously doubt he
90s
meant
were
the
great.
80s. He's much older than the 80s.
Well,
Okay,
you're-
but so he should have said 80s because the 90s was Bill Clinton, a leftist. The 80s was Reagan, a right winger.
Your interpretation of Donald Trump's opinions is separate from when we see a riot, what is motivating the riot? When we
his
see
opinions
an
lead his
assassination.
policies, don't they?
Indeed, and
Wouldn't you say
no
that's
one,
what
no one
politics
here is
is all
making the
about?
claim that Donald Trump is innocent, nor does he not have individuals who
But
engage
you're
in
attempting
violence
to
based
make
on
a
similar
claim
ideologies.
that his type of ideology that leads his policy is not nearly as violent as the left,
Well, how
which
many
is
riots have there been from the right?
largely anti-capitalist, which is largely anti-fascist. None of what you're saying makes any sense. It sounds like
It
you're
does.
honestly grifting a lot.
How many Republican riots have there been?
I
January
don't know
6th?
the
Is it
exact
one?
number.
Maybe one in
But what
January
are you
6th, which is a
classifying as a
bad one.
riot? What? Because if you're
I would consider that to be the worst one. I mean, they went into they stormed the Capitol, right? Many people died. Yeah, I mean, there were BLM, Antifa protests, and they were shutting off streets and no police zones. But January 6th, although maybe it's in fewer numbers from left and right, that's by far the worst one.
Let's say-
conflating
let's say-
protesting with rioting,
We're not.
that's a very different
No,
thing.
we're talking specifically about people ransacking Tesla facilities, vehicles, charging
You're
stations.
so obsessed with the Tesla thing. Why don't we actually talk
I think
about...
it might be because
I don't
someone
know
took
if
a
Musk-
rifle and
I
started
don't know
shooting
if
up a
Musk
building.
is like investing in your company or something, but let's like remove the Tesla out of it. That has nothing to
Ooh.
do with what you're
She
actually
called you a Peter Thiel, Elon Musk shill.
prompt is saying.
no, that's
It
actually what my
sounds-
claim is.
No, it sounds a lot like
Well, then you're arguing
you
something else.
decided, No, you're arguing something else because it
I am
sounds
arguing
like you
something
went
else from you.
somebody who was
He's
doing
winning this
really
one.
important work in Occupy Wall Street to then
Which was what?
grifting all the way to defending
What was the important
far-right
work?
people. That's crazy.
What was the important work?
What important work?
You said I was doing
in terms
impor-
of Occupy Wall Street,
Yes.
I think, you know, in terms of that movement, I thought it was it was one of the first times in our generation that we were able to see an actual organization against capitalism.
Can I ask you how old you are?
No, you cannot ask me how old
Were
I
you
am.
politically active during Occupy Wall Street?
Yes, I was.
Did you follow the news about me during Occupy Wall Street?
Not specifically.
And the news was that Occupy denounced the violence. I had filmed leftists deflating police tires who physically attacked me, and I was attacked by a masked individual smacking my camera out of his hand.
so
Occupy
this is a
Wall
personal
Street
vendetta for you
then
because
gave
a
me
single
indeed.
person or
If you're
small
getting
group of
emotional about
people-
this and you don't want to have an argument,
I'm not
that's
gonna-
fine.
Do I look emotional, guys?
You do
I feel
because
pretty
She's a little
relaxed.
emotional.
you don't know what happened during Occupy, and your argument is off because you don't.
This honestly sounds like
Okay,
you have
pause,
a personal vendetta
pause.
from your
an
history
argument.
that
Pause
has
it here.
absolutely nothing with what your
an
actual
argument.
prompt
You have to
is, which
pause it
is
here.
Not an
around
argument.
You have
far-right
to
people
pause.
being much more
an
violent than the
argument.
left.
We have to pause. Love the passion, but pause. All right. If you'd like to be the next debater, please get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
You got it. Nice to meet you. How's it going?
How did he get there first?
I think we should just get to the heart of it. Donald Trump is a fascist. He has Nazis in his administration. His entire messaging was resonating with Nazis from the very beginning. Donald Trump, when rallying for 2024, had a massive rally in Madison
It's not
Square
EDP.
Garden. What was the significance of that rally?
You tell me.
Sleeper
Yeah.
build. Someone said there was a Twinkie under the table. Can you guys be respectful?
It's the same place, same date as the Nazis in the 1940s. Literally. Donald Trump said that immigrants are poisoning the blood of America and their environment. Who also said that?
You tell me.
Hitler. Literally. Donald Trump has openly said things as dog whistles. So you may say that it's not mainstream, but the entire ideology of the right speaks to those people.
Let me ask you, what do you mean by fascist?
Far-right, authoritarian, ultra-nationalistic, 14 tenets of fascism,
I mean,
all that.
but there's a specific definition of fascist. Do you just mean that he's an authoritarian?
No, I mean that he meets all 14 tenets of fascism.
Which is what?
You want to go through all 14 points?
I'm trying to understand your argument. But so my point largely is we see people say Trump is a fascist, but there's, you know, if you go to an academic and you look at fascism, say Italy, there's a common
Mussolini.
argument that you have the merger of corporation and state as the defining element of what fascism is.
There's different forms of fascism, right?
Well, and that's the point. That's
The
why I
actual premise is the authoritarian. Donald Trump is absolutely a fascist. He's, like I said, he has Nazis in his administration. I think we're shifting. Pete Hegseth.
Yeah, the left keeps going on that they have not. Bro, the worst thing is that he has Jewish supremacists in his administration.
He literally has a proud Nazi tattoo on his chest.
He does not.
Stephen Miller is absolutely a Nazi. Stephen Miller
does not have a Nazi tattoo on his chest.
No,
he does not. He has a
chest?
Catholic cross on his chest.
Okay. All right. Cool.
I mean, guys, look, I went to Catholic school when I was little. I left in fifth grade.
Yeah, see, they're trying to conflate Nazism with Christian Crusaders, but these Christian Crusaders are owned by the Jews. So it doesn't really, it's like the word anti-Semite. It gets thrown around so much it lost its meaning, just like this Nazi word.
Pete Hegseth is not a Nazi.
Yeah, okay, cool. Question for you. When Donald Trump...
Someone said Zionism is Nazism. I think leftists say that because Nazis have been demonized so much and it's like evil, evil, evil. I think it's better to just stick to what it is. Like, don't be afraid to call Jewish supremacists.
SNEAKO, as a fan, I just saw on Twitter that the Nick fans are calling you B initials NKDB.
Okay, I don't care.
His administration specifically actually implement policies that go at the heart of what Nazis want,
Which
right? Targeting.
Which is what?
The first group of people they target was the transgender community. Same things in Nazi. The actual Nazis specifically targeted people that weren't like them. There's been a persistent and consistent attack on undocumented immigrants.
He's screaming and crying.
Oh, wow. So this is what's happening right now. The Goiper Cat Boys are in a Telegram group chat trying to coordinate because they're seething and crying.
Avocados from Mexico.
Wow, you call it out.
Black people, women, anyone that's not a straight white male in America.
My principal claim is not that Donald Trump is innocent, nor perfect, nor good. My claim is that when you look at street-level violence, domestic terror, etc., you'll find more violence coming from the mainstream left as opposed to the mainstream right.
Sure.
I do think it's fair to point out white supremacists are violent. They do evil and horrible things.
Yeah, I wanted to get
and
to that.
we all condemn them.
The white supremacists are a part of the mainstream.
I have yet to see anybody in the right wing talk about the San Diego Masjid attack. I haven't seen any of them mention it.
Right.
But they're not.
They literally are.
There's no circumstance where you
did
can
the
go on
case here?
TV.
That guy also didn't have great arguments.
Return to your seat. You've been voted out.
Nice meeting you.
Simple won that. The most threatening debater here is the
If
first
you'd
one.
like to be the next
he's
debater,
he's really
please
good.
get to the
Shout out
chair
to him.
in 3,
I've seen him on
2,
Jubilee before.
1.
How's it going,
That was an easy grab. You're right there.
So the first thing I'll say is I think it's a bit disingenuous to characterize all of the property damage committed during BLM as left-wing violence because there are going to be rogue opportunists during the biggest civil rights protests in American history.
And maybe someone should make the argument too that there was a strong claim to be made that intelligence agencies infiltrated the BLM protests and provided people with bricks and rocks to stir more chaos. Right? There were a lot of fishy aspects of these protests that didn't seem like it came from the ground. I mean, look at the No Kings protests. A lot of these are extremely controlled, and they want to give people the right amount of resistance because they know that an uprising is somewhat inevitable. So they also want to keep it controlled.
First and foremost, the second thing I would like to say is I don't think it makes sense to confine political violence strictly in the context of individuals acting with political motive violently. I think it ignores institutional violence. Theoretically, you could say the 1960s civil rights movement was more violent than the counter-protesters, but obviously the institutional violence of segregation.
I completely agree.
Right. So, so what I would say is that the Republican Party is, and the mainstream political right is far more violent because they support ICE ripping and separating families from one another, even from people who have no criminal background. ICE deaths under ICE custody have skyrocketed, even as a matter of
absolutely.
war abroad, etc. But
domestic, I'd love to talk the war stuff. I'm a big foreign policy guy, but domestically, did this not happen during Barack Obama's administration?
It did, but not to the same extent.
Agreed.
And Barack Obama was criticized for it by who? The political left.
Agreed.
Right.
So
okay, I want to go on Omegle too. This is really long. It's an hour and 40. I don't want to see where are the highlights. Hour and 40 is ridiculous. I just want to see that good debater that made him walk off. Let's go see that last one. Where does he show up again?
After our 8 p.m. meeting, Nick said you're NKDB now, but I'll call you Sneaky still.
I don't really care, bro. Where'd he walk off? Where's the walk off? Oh, right here. So he walked off and came back? Okay, let's go see. Right here.
Also, I would recommend doing research before you come to a place like this.
If you'd like to be the next debater, please head to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back.
Damn.
Good to see you again.
Great to see you again.
Yeah.
First time we talked about this was in 2019, so it's been quite a while
I think it was
since
before
you've
that,
been
actually.
calling for civil war.
I've never called for civil war.
Or
The
not
premise is the United States is tracking towards a civil war.
I'm sorry. Said that we're on
Important
the brink
distinction.
of civil war.
And what was the citation I had for when I said that?
I would love you to
It was
tell
the
me.
Atlantic.
Okay.
Media matters. I read the kick chat. You're just not that funny. You're like, what? People criticize me all the time on X and say I'm addicted to the chat. So he made his name Media Matters, and he's mad that I'm not reading it. Oh my name's funny. Media Matters. Why are you not? It's not that funny, bro. Like I see it. You're just not interesting. I read every chat.
And it was a journalist who interviewed several national security experts who said that there is a range of opinions in the national security space that the U.S. is trending towards a civil war. Notably, that when you cite people like Stephen Marsh, journalist, as well as Barbara F. Walter, former CIA, the U.S. academics describe the period that we're in as civil strife, meaning there's a criteria of death that has occurred for political reasons over the past year or years, for which the next phase would be civil war. However, we'll make my point, tracking towards it, I've not said that it will happen, although there have been many people who have said that we are in a cold civil war or some kind of cultural civil war. I always...
Which is the slop propaganda. This is the Fed slop. They want people to be bringing a civil war so that they can continue their agenda. All right? They want that class war. They want races fighting against each other. It's happening in Europe and it's happening in America.
Caveat, because I don't actually have a strong prediction.
First of all, you do have a strong prediction if you've been saying this since 2019. There's
Well,
42.
reading articles about
People
it,
can
sure.
look this up. There's 42 of your titles that have the word civil war in it
Correct.
with big fonts on the front.
They sure do.
So why is that? It's
pushing
sensationalist.
it.
It's easy to get clicks on that. There's a reason why you say it, because it's very profitable for your business.
Not necessarily.
But there's
We
there
have
comes a point-
1,600
Tim Pool,
episodes
Tim
of
Pool,
just
Tim
IRL.
Pool. There comes a point
Tim Pool.
where people stop taking your predictions seriously.
Are you going to make an
If you've
argument,
said-
or are you mad at me?
I'm not mad at you. I'm
Okay,
trying
then
to
let's make an
explain.
argument about whether
I'm
or not
trying.
we are tracking.
Can
No.
you relax?
If you're making
The
an
point-
argument, you
no,
don't
Tim.
like my thumbnails, or you try to say my
I'm
name over and over
I'm
again.
saying that you say bullshit in order to get money. But what
Let me
I
ask
really
you-
think
let
is
me ask you a
the
question.
predictions.
Let me
Hold
ask
on.
you a
Tim,
question you can't
I will
answer.
agree with you that there's increased polarization.
Huh?
I would attribute a
All
lot
right,
of
let
that
me-
to people being specifically online.
Let me ask-
There's
I
a
don't
lot
disagree.
less
I
interaction with
completely
people
agree.
that are in
Sure.
different camps.
Let me ask you a question.
But
Let me
you're
ask you a
going to
question.
sit here and tell me that we're way more polarized than fucking Alexander Hamilton and Aaron Burr, who like shot each other with their disagreements. You're going to
Why
tell me
was
that
Aaron
Andrew
Daniels-
Jackson, who's the sitting
Do you
president,
want to have a
calling people up for
conversation, or are you
duels,
just going to be
is
angry?
not
Why was
polarization?
Aaron Danielson shot in the chest twice?
Sorry?
Why was Aaron Danielson shot in the chest
I'm
twice?
not disagreeing that political violence is
Answer
taking
the
place
question. You say
Tim
Alexander
Pool.
Hamilton and Aaron Burr, but then when I ask you a question about an assassination, you defer.
Where you can say that
Let me
there's
ask you a
civil
question.
war every fucking year and it doesn't happen. And
I
you're gonna
never
say
said
it just
there
hasn't
was.
happened yet.
Let me ask you a
Or
question.
if it does happen, you say, see, I've had it all
Let me
along.
ask you a
You were
question.
the
Let me
same
ask you
thing
a
as like the
question.
Christian
Let me
rapture
ask you
people.
a
Who say that
question.
the rapture's coming every fucking year,
Are
and
you-
when it doesn't happen,
do
it's
you want a
like, oh, it's not
soapbox?
happening.
Do you want me to get you a
I'm just saying,
soapbox?
It's really
I can leave.
easy.
You want me to-
It's
you want me to
really
go?
easy to
You want me
like
to
do
leave?
what you do.
You want me to
It's
leave?
really easy to do what you do.
You put on a beanie.
Literally just say,
You put on a beanie.
Civil War is happening next year.
With a beanie.
Civil War is happening next year. It's coming. Make sure you subscribe to Timcast. Continue to watch my videos, please. Follow us on YouTube.
Oh my
follow us
God.
on Instagram. It's easy to do
All
what
Nick
you do,
fans
bro.
here. Distract NKDB. Distract NKDB. Distract NKDB.
So perfect that this is happening
Distract
during the Tim Pool debate where
NKDB.
they're saying the left commits more terrorist attacks than the right. The right wing has far more terrorists, obviously. They shot up a San Diego masjid. They're responsible for 75 to 80% of the terrorist acts since 2001. They are the Antifa that they cry about so much, and you're seeing it live right now. It sounds like Pablo Fuentberg told a Telegram group chat full of these cat boys to go say distract while giving me tons of money every day that I built a masjid in Gaza for. Actually, it would make sense that we try to do something for the people in San Diego.
Nobody's actually had a debate yet. Are we going to actually talk about whether it will or will not happen? I mean, sounds like it's gonna.
All right. If you'd like to be the next
She's happy because she got the rage bait clip.
debater, please head to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome. Nice to meet you. Hey, nice to meet you.
I think we are being constantly fueled by the people that are already in charge, that are up on top, that are already wealthy, and that already have power over the entire government. Donald Trump has 8 billionaires in his administration, including himself. You see his sons profiting, you see his friends profiting, you see everyone in close ties with him profiting. They're not going to give up this power. I don't think we're on the verge of a civil war. I think we're due for a revolution. And I hope that's peaceful. I hope that's not violent. I hope we change.
This is fantastic. No, I appreciate this. Can I ask you some questions?
Yeah.
Do you believe that Donald, and I'm not trying to accuse you of believing this, but do you think that Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do.
Do you think that there are Nazis in his administration?
In his administration? Few. Yeah.
Do you think that I mean, how do you feel about them using the military to go after undocumented migrants in this country?
ICE is trained by the IDF. It's the Nazi argument. I think the left would do better if they abandoned it.
I think it is an unnecessary use of force when we should be targeting violent criminals that have come into this country illegally. That should be the sole focus when 70% of detainees in ICE custody do not have a criminal conviction. We're wasting resources and trying to use a show of militaristic power, which is a huge proponent of fascism.
How do you feel about the death of Renee Good and Alex Preddy?
Unjustified.
Are you going to do anything about it?
I'm going to rally everyone here.
Is rallying going to stop murder?
I don't do this.
Is rallying going to stop the killing of people?
I annoy my few hundred friends and followers on my Instagram posts by reposting news stories.
Do you think rallying will stop the killing of people?
What I'm doing here now is trying to show people that they need to speak up, that we're not against each other right and left.
Do you believe speaking up will stop ICE from killing people?
I think speaking up will get us to the right process of voting people in the midterms and in the next election so that we can make changes the constitutional way.
How many people do you think will die between now and then?
Too many. There's already been too many people that have died.
So again, this is largely based off, I don't know if it's...
So wait, are you trying to incite a civil war?
No.
Do you want a civil war?
I'm asking you if you actually believe...
What do you want to do against ICE?
I like ICE.
And you're happy that they're killing people?
No.
Okay, so what are you going to do?
I'm going to vote for Trump again.
He's the one that's allowing ICE to kill people.
To be fair, I'm going to vote for J.D. Vance.
As I just said, he's the one not taking accountability.
Wow.
See, I think
wait a second. So this is who Pablo Fuentberg snaked the anti-Semite movement, as he said himself, to get Tim Pool approval. This is his guy.
For J.D. Vance. I'm going to vote for Trump again.
He's the one that's allowing ICE to kill people.
To be fair, I'm going to vote for J.D. Vance.
As I just
Good. Told you.
He's the one not taking accountability.
See, I think there's a distinction here. For one, the claim is meant to be like non-partisan, but I have, of course, my partisan views.
Of course.
I like the Trump administration, though they've done a lot of bad things.
And that's fine.
And we can call it those bad things, but I'm going to continue to support it. My point largely is either the progressives will stand up against what they perceive as fascism, or fascism takes over.
Which they are
now,
doing.
By all means,
we just had the largest protest in the history of the United States. No King's protest.
Your argument
We're going to pause here. Thank you. You've been voted up by the majority. If you'd like to be the next debater, please head to the chair in 3,
pretty good debate.
2, 1.
Okay, so the whole thing about civil war is that I do think that you need war. The whole Okay, so the whole thing about civil war is that I do think that you need some sort of leadership. you know, that is being financially disenfranchised to incentivize a civil war. And we don't really have any strong progressive leaders in office currently that are being meaningfully financially disenfranchised the way slavers were. So
Wait, is this the one that Andrew Wilson said lick sniz?
You don't. That's the challenge. I think.
Yes, that is absolutely, yes. That
you
is
don't. If you take a look at civil wars throughout history, we can use the Syrian Civil War as an
Sniz.
example. It started with a dozen or so disparate factions, largely of locals, and various ideologies that ultimately coalesced around one group, either the Free Syrian Army, but then ultimately got taken over.
Right, sure,
Civil
but the
wars
thing
can
is
be
that,
fomented through small factions that bubble up.
Certainly, but I think that you are vastly overestimating the, you know, kind of militant capacity of
Facts.
the American left.
True.
Like, we truly do not have,
So true.
like, a far left in the U.S. that would be willing to take up arms. It is
Facts.
so small.
I need to get
Furthermore,
married.
I do think that technology-wise, it's not, you know, it's not an even battle anymore. Like, the military, the U.S. military, which is largely conservative, and currently, you know, Trump is in charge of them.
So-
The technology that
been
they
so long,
have
chat.
to track, surveil, to remotely kill people would be absurd. I mean, I guess we could do some sort of guerrilla warfare, but this is American territory. It wouldn't go down like Vietnam, you know?
know.
Like, we know where we are, we know where we're going. It
So
just,
this is a fantastic point, by the way, and this gets into what's known as the generations of warfare.
Okay.
So the earliest generation of warfare, obviously, is a guy punching a guy. As we got into, you know, the 1700s, well, maybe even
Are you even
before that.
listening? No, I wasn't. I see. I don't know if I could debate her. I would just get anyway. Okay. Anyway, we can move on from this. Very good debate.